At Direct Service Overhead, we know how much trust you put in the individuals who have the privilege of working on the components of your home. We understand that a broken garage door is the last thing you want to be worried about, and most of the time, doors break at the most inconvenient times. Our professionally trained technicians service 24 hours a day, and our high-cycle parts are guaranteed to make a noticeable impact on your garage door without putting a damper on your wallet. If you're looking for need of assistance maintaining your current garage door, our team has the experience and expertise to deliver the results you deserve. Give Direct Service Overhead a call today or visit us online to learn more.
All right, happy Wednesday. It's hump day. That's what I'm talking about. 3, 2, 1. How's my hair look? Oh no. Just gonna have to keep it as is, I guess. Yo, what's going on? Arkansas Razorback fans, SEC fans everywhere. Welcome to the one and only Pig Trail Network YouTube channel. I tell you, I love this thing, but at the same time, it's really hard to trying to keep the helmet. Trying to keep the helmet in view there. I don't know if you guys can see that. I have notifications set up and everything. YouTube sucks. I still have to manually search you in my subscriptions. Yeah, I'm getting the vibe that notifications did not go out this morning. They went out last night, which is incredible. Hang on. I don't know if that's any better. I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. YouTube. I don't believe they have personal vendettas against anybody, but they do fail. And I'm not a political YouTube channel, so they have no reason to dislike me. You know, I don't go against their grain. Typically, my chat's usually pretty clean, most of the time. And, I mean, you know, again, we don't get too political here. Those are the channels that are in the most trouble, but they are really bad about sending out notifications, so I do apologize. I don't know what the deal is with that. That's what I'm working against here, which is why I need to be out on more platforms, not just YouTube. So, all right, let me get a glug of water here. Okay, all right. Plenty to talk about. Last night, we can kind of continue a little bit of what we saw last night. I do want to go over some numbers from that game and just some other takeaways now that I've had time to kind of, you know, sit on it for a little bit and think about it for a moment. Chat is clean till Hawes shows up. Yeah, Hawes usually isn't the issue. It's just the real negative Nancy's, the people that or the people that get really angry at somebody else and then F-bombs start dropping, and maybe that has something to do with it. Listen, there's this thing called shadow banning. It's a thing on Twitter. It's just the way these analytics work. Sometimes they will suppress the more volatile channels. So that's why sometimes you will see comments that don't even make it through. So, and if you have been victim of that, know that it's not always me. So I just realized. There we go. We're going to try and get the hair straightened out. Or I'm just going to throw on the beanie again. Probably what I'll end up doing. say you're for the vaccine and you will be okay. I'm not going down that road. I'm not getting political. Have you considered Twitch? I have. I used to do a podcast on Twitch when I covered gaming years ago with a YouTube content creator by the name of Big Fry. Maybe some of you have heard of him. He's got like a couple 100,000 subscribers. He's a pretty big deal. He covered a lot of that Earth 2 stuff. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but they're like you buy up tiles, virtual tiles. He covered a lot of that, and that was some really quality content. Fry's my boy. I like Fry. But me, him, and another guy by the name of who used to be a really popular streamer by the name of Focused, and another guy by the name of SoCon Buck. We had a platform called a podcast called the Digital Fire Podcast, and did really well. That community was really awesome. Really good people in that community. I have considered it. It's I don't know. I like that my home base is right here. Sorry for political comment I've ever made here. I think Kelly took that one down. I don't. We're just here to talk sports. You guys can, when you're done here, you can go look. Obviously, you're adults. Hopefully, most of you. You can go do whatever you want. In fact, as soon as I'm done here, like I always say, I'm probably going to pull up some political stuff on my own and just sit there and eat my turkey sandwich or whatever I'm going to eat for lunch. Maybe some leftover. I think I got some honey barbecue wings. Maybe eat some wings and listen to a bunch of political stuff. That's fine. I leave that there. I try to. Sometimes it kind of comes through a little bit,
Come on, man.
Sometimes it comes through just a minute, All right, you should stream NCAA Revamped. I've thought about it. My PlayStation 3 is a piece of junk, though. It freezes from time to time. I hope you guys had a good night. Arkansas won. Didn't start off great. Basketball, they're getting some signees coming through early. Jordan Walsh signed. Now, according to Kevin McPherson. Now, Kevin McPherson, that's where, and I probably should have said this on Monday and I completely forgot, but that's where I got the information about who he was on, doing his thing on YouTube. And that's where I got the information from about who's signing early and who's not signing early. So far, Barry Dunning and Jordan Walsh have signed. Pinion, we have that somewhere. What did I say? When did I say Pinion was going to sign? Pinion, people are overlooking that kid. Pinion's pretty. Pinion's a baller. All right, 12:45 today is when Pinion is supposed to sign. Barry Dunning on the 10th, so he's got one of those right. The one that we didn't know about the two that we didn't know about was Nick Smith and Jordan Walsh. So, and Darian Ford will sign on Sunday the 14th. I don't know the time on that, but Darian Ford will sign. So that right there, you sign those four. That's a legit top 6, top 8 class. Maybe top 5. It kind of depends on where the rest of these players fall. And then you add Nick Smith, who's just icing on that awesome top 6, top 8 recruiting class cake, puts you at the number 2 spot, and which is where they rank right now. They're number 2 based on who's committed. After in basketball, it's pretty black and white. It's pretty like, there you go. This is your rank. Not a lot of movement, not compared to football. Baseball is impossible to keep up with all the rankings. We don't even really cover baseball, I'll be honest. I know I get some people who want me to, but I just don't. There's just so many names to keep up with, and it's just a little bit more for a one-man show here who's dealing with just trying to cover these 3 sports, trying to cover all the recruiting can be a little much. So basketball, you won't get as much movement after Nick Smith signs. He may not sign. Remember, early signing period is the 10th through the 17th. So it starts today and it goes all the way through next Wednesday. So anything could happen. One other person told me he felt like Nick Smith changes his mind. He's not someone I wouldn't call him an insider, but has kept up with basketball recruiting and actually has he's called it pretty well, honestly, who said he felt like Nick Smith changes his mind. I think that was more of a gut feeling for him, but I swear one day I'm going to be able to I'll just say this. These 4 that you should sign all up by Sunday, other than Nick Smith. Again, you're talking about a great class. I mean, you're talking about a solid class. Again, Nick Smith is like that icing on the cake. So I do feel pretty comfortable that Nick Smith, one way or another, will sign either now. When is the final signing period for basketball? Isn't it April? Is that right? I think it's in April. So, yeah. Anyways, again, Joseph Pinion will sign in Morrilton at 12:45 today. Barry Dunning has signed. Jordan Walsh, we didn't know, we had, and I have it written here in the notes, and I think that's how I worded on the Monday show, that it was currently unknown on Jordan Walsh. Well, he has signed. That's huge. I think now we're just kind of waiting on what Nick Smith does. And as far as I know, nothing has changed. There's, as of right now, today at 11:15 a.m. on the 10th, 2021, November 2021, it doesn't sound like he's going to sign early, but he could. So anything could happen. Anything could happen. I give up, and I like Kevin McPherson. I think Kevin McPherson does a good job. I know some people, it seems like everyone has a problem with somebody. I don't like him because he was wrong on this announcement or on this prediction or what. Like, come on. This guy does it for a living. He's pretty good at it. Kevin talks to these families and the players. I trust that he – so far, look, I mean, he's the only one that he kind of missed on. He didn't even miss on him. He said Jordan Walsh, we don't know. So he got it right on everyone else. So far, Nick Smith has not signed. And we know, too, we're talking about 17, 18-year-old kids who may say one thing and change their mind. But speaking of recruiting, football, all but confirmed to me that it sounds like they're going to get everybody in December. Football recruits, a current top 25 class. It sounds like they're going to get everybody. And I kind of thought there might be some stragglers there, but I think because Arkansas is on that path, you're no longer, you go all the way back the Houston Nutt era since being in the SEC. You had like one decent year under Coach Ford where you went to the SEC championship and then you got just frog stomped by the Florida Gators. But in the Nutt era, Petrino era, you were a main course meal in the SEC. You belonged on that plate, right? Now you weren't the steak, but you were like the potatoes on that plate. And then the end of the Brett Bielema era and then the Chad Morris era, you were like maybe the salt and pepper. You weren't really on the plate. You were kind of dashed on there like, yeah, maybe this will work, maybe it won't. You're back on the plate. You guys know how I love to implement food into my analogies. That you're back on that plate. Maybe that's why they've done so well. These last two classes, they've been able to sign these kids up in December. That's huge. I'm not a big – listen, I don't know what to think of the early signing period. I get why they do it, to get it out of the way for these kids, let them enjoy their Christmas break. But now it's like it pushes them – if they don't sign in December, now you have this question of, well, why didn't they sign? And the same thing for early signing period for basketball. It's the same thing. It really is. It's the same damn thing. Why isn't Justin Smith signing early? Why doesn't he want to get this out of the way? I think that's a legitimate question to ask. Is he just kind of like, yeah, I'm committed, but I might be looking elsewhere? What is this? And I think, too, some of it is he wanted to commit, and then maybe they're telling everybody else to shove off. We're committed to Arkansas. But then that still begs the question, why not sign? So I don't know, man. To each their own. I'm not blaming him or his family. I'm sure they have their own reasons for doing what they do. But football, again, it sounds like basketball and football are going to be pretty solidified. And December, it looks like they're going to be able to sign, and it sounds like they're going to sign just about everybody as far as I know. Now, I don't have again. I always have to say this. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids. Anything could change, but I was kind of more or less just told, like, yeah, I think they're all signing. Sounds like they're all signing. So let me get caught up on chat here really quick. Hey, Hog fan, what's up, Mike and him? How you doing? You guys do me a favor. Make sure you like the stream, share the content. Share. I was scrolling up. Somebody, Kirby Fly Guy says, yo, share the vid, guys. I finally made a live. What's up, Kirby? How you doing? Kelly Marie says, like button. Awesome. Look at her. Kelly's already on top of it. Yeah, again, I don't know what to say about the notifications. I don't know. It's just another thing I'm working against here. Kelly says she didn't get one either. I think they just generally have a bad – I think that's what it is. I think that you hear this term all the time, but it is true. It is an algorithm written by some software developer somewhere who's like, maybe this will help the numbers, and it just doesn't. It kind of hurts more than it helps. Chat is clean. Yeah, we already talked about that with Hawes. You should stream revamped. Tony that has a dog in him, really excited about him, says Jake Robertson. I was watching. I kept an eye on him all night. That dude boxes out. He's aggressive to the rebounds. He wants to be in there to get a second chance offensive rebound, second chance shots. He wants to help build those numbers a little bit. He had 5 offensive rebounds, I think 6 defensive rebounds. Tony was huge, man. I noticed it in the first half. He started kind of standing out a little bit. Like, man, he can be pretty aggressive in the paint. I'm liking what I'm seeing out of him. And then all of a sudden his numbers started to follow. And then you looked at his time on the floor, and it's like I feel like he had the most when in terms of his position and probably what he was asked to do. He was definitely one of the more productive players on the floor. He had some great quality minutes there. Odise, is it Odise? Or I'm pretty sure it's Odise, but I just call him Tony. Tony is a baller. All his points came from simply out hustling. Exactly. He ended with 18 points. I'd say he hustles. What a worker. Color me impressed, says Mike and them. Again, no notifications, Alex. I mean, no notifications went out today. And I'll tell you something else that was weird when I started the stream. It's been doing this thing where it's like buffering. And it sat there for a good 30, 40 seconds buffering. So I'm wondering if YouTube's just having some problems today. Alex, thanks for being here, man. Note's a pure shooter. He is a pure shooter. His quality of shots, his shot selection was better last night. But then it became this kind of carnival, let's just go down the floor and just throw the ball up. And that is not what Musselman wants to do. We know Musselman wants to get some ball movement. And Note is like a wrench. He's like a wrench that you throw in. Like he's a wrench in your plans, but then somehow the wrench comes out on the other side perfectly fine. And like, oh, wait, everything's working. It's weird. Again, with the analogies, I know, but that's the only thing I could come up with at the top of my head. It's like you throw it through you don't throw him. He just throws himself in there, and you're like, oh, God, that's going to mess everything up. And then he comes out on the other side clean, and the motor's still running. It's like, what the hell is going on here? Last night was a night that, look, if not for him, and I would argue him and Tony, you don't win. You don't win that game last night. Maybe Likes maybe Likes would have stepped up if one of those two didn't. I like what I saw out of Likes too. He does make me a little nervous. He's pretty wild with that ball. I don't know about you guys, but he seemed a little seems wild, man. It reminds me so much of Courtney Fortson. Based on last night, just call him JD Note, just buckets. Chris Likes electric. Jay will work. Defense Davis. Ados Tony all day. Oh, you want to call Tony all day? Okay, to borrow one from Adrian Peterson. What's up, Ty? Tarl. What's up, brother? How you doing, man? How about them Hogs? Offensively, we will be hard to stop. If you're talking about basketball, yeah, yeah. Their perimeter defense, though, a little scary. And then Mercer just started chucking up balls that were going, nothing but net. Jalen Williams might be the best passer on the team. He is. He's like the only guy. He'll kick it back out, And he took how many threes did he take last night? One? Was it 1 or 2? And you don't, because he can. He's got a decent shot outside, but sometimes you just rather him not. Like, can you just not, Jalen? Just do your thing. Pass the ball, maneuver your way inside, and do your thing. You don't mind him. He can. We showed that last year at times. I just got the notification, says Joe McGowan. Yeah, weird. And you see what happens. I don't know. And Wednesday shows have kind of been that way too. Note and Devo on the ball. On the ball D is really going to be a problem for other teams. Don't forget Likes. Likes is like white on rice, man. On TV it sounded like they were saying DC. So we went through who has signed. Again, I'm to say that I'm excited about basketball is an understatement. I think we all are. It's the same thing there with basketball. Like, I think Arkansas, Mike Anderson, he kept you on that plate of food that we talked about earlier. He kept you as the mashed potatoes. You weren't the green onions or the sour cream on top of the loaded potatoes along with your steak. You were in there. You just couldn't do anything in postseason. I feel like Eric Musselman might have Arkansas. They might be the main course. They could be that New York steak, that strip. Or the Angus, whatever you like. I don't know. Filet mignon, whatever you like. I mean, a lot of people, Andy Katz has you as one of the top 3 teams in the SEC. When was the last time you heard that about Arkansas? Maybe 1 year under Mike Anderson, I feel like. Maybe once or twice. I think he had a couple of those. I think Discord was pretty calm last night during the half. Oh, yeah, right. Until, coming out of half. Scott, coming out of the half, they were a lot better. Oh, my gosh. I don't mind some criticisms every now and then. You'll hear me. I'll do that. I'll be like, what the hell are we watching? We all do it. We all fall victim to it. There's nothing wrong. But then to just keep going on. I mean, I came close to putting someone in just a Discord timeout. Like, calm down. Jeez, man. I heard must pronounce Odis. Odisi. I don't know, man. I'm just calling him Tony. I butcher enough names here. It was good, though. Good to start off 1-0. Not going to lie. When they got up to that double-digit lead, I thought, oh, boy, we might have an issue on our hands if you look at the last 2 exhibition games. And then this, when you kind of compound them all together, it's like, oh, no. What do we have here? Momentum is on our side for this game. You talking about LSU, Dragon Slayer? I feel like you're right. Maybe. But it's at night in the old DV. I don't know, man. Friday show. Again, don't forget, Discord, Saturday morning, 10 a.m. 10 a.m. That was our availability. That's not like we both, hey, let's do it at 10 o'clock. My original idea was to do it maybe an hour before kickoff. But he's got QB Spotlight. Has got some stuff going on, and he's just busy. He's swamped. But Steven is swamped from QB Spotlight. But that Saturday, we're gonna go 10 a.m. Be there. I showed you guys last night where it was at. I'll do it again. Hang on. Let me flip the screen. We'll flip the screen here. It's right here. Okay. Oh, those are my notes. Right down here. Right down there. See? Right down there. That's where it's going to be in one of those 2 rooms. I'll rename them. I can go in and change their names. I'll rename them. You'll know. I might just keep it there where it says interview room. There's some stuff there you guys haven't seen before, huh? Wednesday show notes, Monday sponsor read, EA ratings, other links, so on and so forth. I guess I better read my sponsor read, huh? Need to do that. Right there it is. It's kind of been mixed up. Let me read. Let's get the sponsor stuff out of the way real quick. You saw their ads at the beginning. I'm also going to do my thing, right? Got to pay the bills. Direct service overhead. Travis Ford. He might be in chat. Travis is a good dude. He really is. He's a good dude. Operates direct service overhead. Operate out of Central Arkansas and Northwest Arkansas. They will replace or repair your garage door. Give them a call. Their phone number is attached to their website, which is attached down below in the description box. And then Stated Apparel, who sell the softest shirts in the world, all made right here in the fine, beautiful, natural state of Arkansas. Softest shirts in the world, Stated Apparel. You can go to their website. They also have a link provided for you down below. They also they have and sell clothing brands such as Southern Marsh and Native also. So you guys be sure and check them out. Oh, man. What else do we have? Really excited about Lay's basketball team. Yeah, there's some stuff going on there, too. They're going to be good. That'll be really good. There is a link in the show notes. Yeah, there is a link in the show notes. There's a link to Discord and show notes. Oh, is there really? I don't know. I put that thing together really quick. Are you saying there's a link to get into my show notes? You're going to have to explain that one to me. What are you talking about? I may have. I put those things together so quick. I do have, if you guys notice, we also have high school football. We have a high school football breakdown of where everybody finished. And we also have a playoff link also provided for you there. If you click on that page, you should be able to click on that link. If not, let me know and I'll fix it. But all the playoff matchups that are brought to you by Hootens.com. They're not a sponsor, but I mean, I'm sure they appreciate me giving them the shout out, but their link is provided. So if you want to take a look at the playoff matchups, there's a link there. And it also has 7A all the way down to 2A, who finished where on the season. 7A. I only got to go to 2 games this year. I'm a little disappointed in myself. I wanted to go to about 4 or 5. I went to 2. Went to Farmington earlier this year. Of course, they were inducting my dad's high school football team to whatever. They're giving them a shout out. They trotted them all out onto the field and gave them a really cool shout out. We talked about that here after it happened. It's really, really awesome for my dad and my uncle. My dad and how many uncles played at Farmington? Gosh, Ronnie, Ricky, Dad, Kenny. Yeah, had several of my. So we got some pretty deep. Our blood runs deep in Farmington. And so, yeah, they got to do that. And I went and watched them play. That was actually a pretty fun game to watch. Tommy Kraft from the Morning Rush officiated. He was the head official of that game. And then I also got to watch Fayetteville. Got to go watch Isaiah Centennia last week. That was really – gosh, that kid's good. Someone asked to join. Oh, okay. Yeah, there is a link. My bad. I thought you were saying there's a link to one of my show notes. I was like, oh, no, that's not good. Yeah, the link is provided for you down below in the description box. If you want to join, it's free. Again, you can create your own account, do your own thing. My alma mater finished 10-0, and we were ranked below 8-2 team. Lame. Chris Likes is going to drive the Bigs nuts. He's a little gnat you can't swat. He drew 2 charges on their 6'9" player. He was so frustrated. Yeah, that was pretty – I think Likes is going to be a problem for a lot of people. I really do. And something else that stood out last night was how well they played defense. Pretty aggressive defense and didn't draw – how many fouls did they draw last night? Like 7? It was ridiculous. How many fouls did they end up with? 6. They got hit with 6. How many of that is home court? Yeah, I will agree. They probably got away with a little bit, but I thought they played pretty clean. And going over those numbers really quick, these guys shot. For most of the game, they shot like north of 42, 43% at 3-point range. Man, they were 13 of 31. They ended up almost right at 42% shooting. They were 2 for 6 at the free throw line. Boy, that's not going to win you much. 33% there, but they were 45% overall from field goal. They had how many multiple? Let's see, 1, 2, 3. They had four players get into double digit. I mean, that's you don't mind that, but you need a little bit more productivity. Just one guy off their bench. Robertson came off the bench and was pretty good. He ended up playing quite a bit, 23 minutes. Tucker came off the bench for them and got 12. Grant got 4. Yeah, they weren't going to take, and this is why I said they need to get Haas. Am I pronouncing that one right? Probably not. Haas or Hasi, however you pronounce his last name. He ended up with the most minutes at 38, and I said they got to get him on the pine, man. They got to get him on the bench because he is a problem. And he only got 10 points, but he had 3 assists, a steal. I thought he had a block, but he didn't. He only ended up with 3 rebounds, but he was a big body, and he did a really good job of trying to contain the inside and not give up open lanes. He did a really good job. He was just an issue. You felt like if you could get him on the pine, get him on the bench, you'd feel a little bit better about what you could do on the floor, and they would not. I mean, the guy played 38 minutes. That was most of anybody. Arkansas did end up – we thought he rotated 8. He did rotate in Johnson, and we've talked a lot about Kamani Johnson. He did get a minute, and I mean, you're going to – yeah, I think as the year goes on and he gets healthy, he's going to get more time. But he got 1 minute. But in that 1 minute, he had a rebound and an assist, but he also had 1 turnover. But that's a pretty productive minute, man. a rebound, and an assist in just a minute. I wonder what would happen when he can get 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes on the floor. I wonder what kind of productivity. Again, that's a minute. A minute can be pretty long in basketball, but it's really not. But I'm not saying he's going to be like an All-American, but I think he could fit into this system pretty well. We'll kind of see what they do. Wade did get 7 minutes last night. I know a lot of people curious about him. He looks like a linebacker. That dude is just built, man. Your leading scorer, again, J.D. Notae, shot selection. Look, man, I mean, he had 30 points. Like, at some point, you're just like, all right, you do you. But he was 5 of 14, okay? He was 5 of 14. But look, man, you're going to take that when he's 5 of 12, you're all right with that a little. You're okay with that. 5 of 10, you're definitely okay with that. You're shooting 50% at that point. You don't mind him taking those shots. But he does. Sometimes he just jacks the ball up. And someone posted you've seen that KJ Jefferson meme where it's like blanket Burks is down there somewhere and it's just him throwing the ball. Someone put J.D. Notae's face on KJ's body and said, blanket, the rim's down there somewhere. That's the best meme ever. Because with Burks, it's like, the dude is just that accurate downfield. He's one of the more accurate deep ball passers in the SEC. I think he's still like north of, I think it's 70% of balls thrown beyond 20 yards. It's something ridiculous. So, yeah, I mean, it's funny because it's more of Burks is just that good. He could just go up and catch the ball with Notae. It's like, it's just so damn true because it's like that's how he operates on the floor. He's just going to throw the ball up. His shot selection. We're laughing about it right now, but there's going to come a time, and we saw this last year, where he's doing that, and he's 1 for 9 or 1 for 11 until Musselman puts him on the bench. It's like, dude, you got to chill. But here's the question, though. Outside of Notae, okay, you only had one other player, and he came off the bench, knocked down a 3. Williams 0 for 2. Williams is not going to take many of those a game. In fact, I'll be surprised if he averages anything more than like 1 attempt a game, and that's stretching it. Ahmoud was 0 for 1. Tony was 0 for 1. Robinson was 0 for 2. And then Wade and Johnson didn't attempt any. And Likes was your only other player to knock down a 3. You were 6 of 21. I mean, can Likes develop in? Is that what Likes is going to be? It seems to me like he likes to try to test people. He'll drive the lane. You guys saw it. As small as he is, he's so wiry. He's going to try and drive the lane. I don't know that he's going to sit back and settle for many threes. They're going to have to get someone else hot outside. You look back on Isaiah Joe and Mason Jones, when they were at their best was when Joe had either Mason Jones or someone else knocking down either mid-range shots, or they were stretching the floor and knocking down threes. If you have one player that you're going to be able to rely on, and it's way too early to suggest that that's the case, but through I have a hard time taking the exhibition game serious. Maybe I should take them more serious, but it seems to me like right now, and we're only 1 game into the season, but based on the attempts alone, I hope this doesn't become a one-man show outside with Notae, where only he's willing to knock down or try to knock down threes and take that shot. That's a little worrisome. I want someone else to kind of step into that role as well. They got to get the one spot is still up for grabs. I don't know what they do with the point guard. I don't know. If any talented D linemen want playing time, then transferring to Arkansas is a no-brainer. Occasional gamer. It took Notae 28 shots to hit 30 points. The offense can't flow when the ball reaches Notae, and he has to shoot. Exactly. There has to be ball movement. There just still wasn't any chemistry in that game whatsoever. Now those final, that chunk of time. Well, they came out in the second half and were obviously just flexing at that point. I mean, they're just flexing. Like, here's why we're top 15, top 20 in the country, because we're way deeper and way more athletic than you are. We can move up and down the floor way quicker than you could ever hope to, and we're really good when things get a little chaotic. That's why they were, at least that was kind of their identity last year. And they were able to recover so well last year. And they did in this game as well. They showcased that for sure. But it really didn't feel like we saw consistent flow, like consistent chemistry from this team. If that's your goal, every game is just find a way to get JD Notte knocking down threes and then just having Likes doing his thing from a defensive standpoint, cutting down turnovers, and then maybe you get, again, we still don't know what's going on with Connor Vanover. He did dress out but didn't play a single minute. Your identity, that can't be your identity, and you expect to win a lot of games. I mean, you can make up for a lot of deficiencies with that style if you're deep enough and you have the talent, which they do, but I don't know that gets you very far. So, yeah, I'm still a little bit concerned about what I saw last night. I'm thrilled that they were able to come back being down 10 points. And the way it's like the second half they were shot out of a cannon. It was pretty exciting. Hey, Ty, I truly believe that the lack of quality of depth is the reason why Odom runs 3 D linemen. Is there any word on – well, okay, so first off, I don't disagree with that because you guys know where I'm at with the defensive line. There is an issue with the depth there on the defensive line. They have the numbers. They could rotate 8 players. They got a guy back against Mississippi State. They're mostly healthy as far as I know. Of course, you lost Dorian Gerald, but you've never been able to rely on Dorian Gerald, and we kind of thought we might be able to this year. But they had the rotation where they could rotate 8 players. Depth, numbers isn't an issue, and like Todd says, it is the quality of depth. That might play a role into it, but here's the thing. We did see them go with the forefront against Auburn, and you saw what they did against that run game. Against arguably one of the best backs in the SEC. I mean, they really were able to contain what Auburn do from a rush north-south, from that aspect of what they like to do on offense, from that aspect of their style of game from an offensive standpoint. Arkansas did a great job of containing their run game. What they couldn't do was get consistent pressure on Bo Nix. So I hear what you're saying, but we have seen the forefront, and we have seen it be effective against the run. So I don't know. I don't know about any. I mean, they have. If you go to the defensive, or if you go to our recruiting page, where we have let's see, football recruiting, and those are all numbers brought to you by brought to you via by 247. If you look, and I've got it in order, they've got 3 defensive linemen: Nico Davier, Patrick Kutas, J.J. Hollingsworth. I mean, they have 3 that they feel pretty good about. And then you got Manny Powell, Caden Henley, and Jordan Crook. I'm really excited about. I really think those 3 linebackers could be pretty effective. And they're all expected to sign early, and they're all expected to be here. Those 3 are expected to be here during the spring. I'm not sure how many players yet are going to be here during the spring, but it sounds like there could be quite a few from this class. So I think we go 4-man against LSU. They have to run because their QBs haven't performed. Kendall Briles will be a head coach someday, 100%. Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm going to be – I hope they do everything they can to keep him for year 3. And like I said on Monday's show, I think – or man, it was, I don't know. It was some time ago. If you're in the middle of a rebuild, or if you take over a program and it's a complete rebuild, which a lot of the times it is in college football. I mean, usually when you're firing a coach, it's not because they were great. You know, you're replacing a coach because they were either A, they were bad, or B, they were good enough and they went on somewhere else, and you're just taking over a really good situation. That's not what Sam Pittman took over. Luckily for him, there were some studs here. You know, you had Burks. You know, you had Jalen Catalon. You didn't realize how great he really was until a year ago. We kind of had an idea that Burks could be something great. You know, you had some bits and pieces here already in place. Traylon Smith, of course, it took him a little while last year to figure that out. And now you fast forward to this year, Smith looks like he might be the third best option amongst these running backs. That's a good thing. That's a good thing, as Martha Stewart once said repeatedly with Snoop Dogg as they rolled a joint together. That's a good thing. That's a good problem to have. When Treylon, who took over the number 1 spot a year ago and now is the third best back on this roster, that's the kind of issues you want to have. And Sam, so Sam now he's still tasked with rebuilding, the D-line, reconstructing and adding weight and doing whatever changes they can. And by the way, holy crap is the offensive line. Kennedy does not get enough respect. That guy, you're going to have to give a big fat raise. I don't know. Texas Tech hired a coach, so that job is out for him. Yeah, TCU is left, right? TCU is the school you're really worried about. Is there any word on TCU? Yeah, as far as I know, I haven't looked into that since, over the weekend. I think I was kind of going down the rabbit hole a little bit, looking at their options. Since then, I don't think they've made a move. Kutas is going to be an offensive. Yeah, that's right. You are right about that. Kutas is going to actually get moved. You're right. Kutas will end up playing offensive line. I think they're looking at him to play. Interior guard or tackle. Yeah, Nico Davier and JJ Hollingsworth. How about Greenland getting there first? I really cannot. I don't think even in my dad's lifetime Greenland High produced a SEC or a Division I FBS quality athlete. Good for them. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't think so. Little old Greenland producing J.J. Hollingsworth. Good for them. But yeah, Kutas, that's right. He is going to play offensive line. I need to correct that. Did you see Georgia throw Jordan Davis in as a fullback last week? I did not. No. Texas Tech took a Baylor assistant coach over a lot more established ones. I think a lot of that had to do with in-state recruitment for them. Their new coach is a Texas high school legend. Well, we know how that worked out for us, so good luck, TCU. Alex Henderson says need to thunder and lightning LSU the whole game. Yeah, I agree. They're gonna. I really think they're going to do the same thing to LSU that they did to Mississippi State. I think they're just going to try and establish the run. They've done this every week, right? I hope we get to keep KB in Odom one more year. It will be icing on the cake. Yeah, so again, what I was saying earlier, if you're in the middle of a rebuild, you have to have if you're having the kind of forward momentum that you have, especially on offense. Defense is a complete rebuild. We know that. They've still got so much work to do on the defensive line. Still not super comfortable with what's going on at linebacker. I'm not as concerned about DBs, but I'll say I've defended them a lot, and I think rightfully so because they were one of the better secondaries. They did a really good job in that first half against Mississippi State at making those windows tighter for Rodgers to throw to. But then the second half, they just completely collapsed, and you got to give him credit, man. There's a reason why he's one of the best passers in the country. They picked Arkansas apart. But there's really only been 2 games this year where the secondary was just completely exposed. Most of the season, I think they've been pretty adequate. But I will say my confidence in them has dropped a little bit. I don't think they're the biggest weakness. I still think the defensive line is the biggest weakness, and I don't think it's even close. They're still one of the worst pass rushers. They're still ranked about 105th in getting to the quarterback. Now, again, some of that's by design because you're running a 3-man front. But even when we have seen them apply extra pressure or go with a 4-down front, they still can't get to the quarterback. They just struggle. Ridgeway has moments. We know Trey Williams has had moments. Trey Williams has ended up having a pretty solid season. It's just not been consistent. It's like one game, he's unstoppable, and then he disappears for the next 3 or 4 games. Remember, we were sitting here talking a couple of weeks ago. I think he might be hurt because his production has completely dropped off the planet. And then you look at, you kind of fast forward through some games, and it's like they disappear, and then they'll have a game like what they had against Mississippi State, who, by the way, is a pretty solid offensive line. They got a potential top 10 pick on that offensive line, and they did really well. Why they can't do that week in and week out is beyond me. I'm still concerned about the defensive line. I'm still concerned about linebacker depth. So, yeah, we know that they're still looking. They've got 1 spot open in this class. It is taken. I do know that much. I'm not going to comment any further, but they do have that spot solidified, or they have a soft verbal commit. That's public information. Everyone knows they have a commit. They have a soft commit. When I can, I'll fill you in on more on that. So, let's see. Total speculation, but I could see Odom sticking with with Pittman for a while. Maybe I'm just crazy. I don't think you're crazy. I think he generally likes coaching for Sam Pittman. I do. I think he just likes I think that he does. I think he likes coaching for him. And I think the same thing about Kendall Briles, but I just think Kendall knows he knows someone's going to come along and grab him, offer him big-time money, and he's going to do what he wants to do. There's not very many coordinators, offensive or defensive, that want to remain coordinators for the rest of their career. They want to move on. Just say it. Ridgway needs another year, in my opinion. He's a bad man, but another year he'll be a beast. Well, I mean, he's got better facilities. He's being coached by a better staff. Let's just be honest. Maybe another year. I want him back. I want him and Catalan and Poole to come back so badly on defense. So, Tusky says not very often you get a quarterback like KJ and a boss like Coach Pittman. Gonna have to be an amazing job offer for KB to leave. Maybe. I don't know. I can't read his mind. I have no idea. Ridgway has stay low and be more consistent. Are you talking about like his pad level? He needs to get his pad level lower. I mean, I'm sure he's aware of that, but he's also a pretty big dude. I mean, it seems like his whole philosophy, especially if you're blocking him man up as a nose tackle, so it'd be the nose tackle versus the center. When he's zeroed up across from the center, he's just going to try to obliterate the center. And yeah, you got to get your pad level low. That's something you're taught from third grade Kiwanis. Get your pad level low, get underneath them, use all your forward momentum, blow him off the ball. He's tall. That's really hard for someone like him to do. He does play a little high. I mean, based on what I've seen. He's just got so much he's got raw power, Should we got after that Texas wide receiver transfer? Him and Coach Sark had a blowout. I don't know anything about that. I don't know who you're talking about. Are you talking about the Oh, yeah. Okay. The UT kid that entered the portal. And there was another player, right? Didn't they have another guy? A linebacker? Didn't we talk about him last week? They had a linebacker hit the portal too. It seems like this could just be year one. You see this. We see it as, oh, look at Sarkisian. Everybody hates him. It could also be he's in there and he's implementing his way. More power to him. I like Sarkisian. I'm not, he's not been great at Texas because Texas isn't the Texas of old. I've been saying this for like 8 years. This is not, and I've been telling my dad this for years. I just can't understand. Texas ought to be better. A&M has entered the SEC, and they're taking prospects away. Oklahoma still kicks their ass most of the time head-to-head. Well, I say most of the time. It's got to be at least 60% of the time when they go head-to-head with recruits. This is not Texas when they had, when they had that incredible, what year was that, 06? Like, this is not the Vince Young Longhorns. Sarkisian, no one, if it's not evident enough, the last several coaches since the guy you fired that went on to North Carolina and turned them around, although they've been a disappointment this year. This is not the Texas of Coach Royal in their good days. This is not this is not the old school guys. It's kind of like Michigan. Yeah, Michigan should probably be 10-2 every year, 11-1, but they're not. This is not the Michigan Wolverines of the early part of the century or the late 90s. Tennessee, another good example. Like, everyone calls them the sleeping dragon. Well, son of a bitch, they've been a sleeping dragon now for 20 years? Like, what are we talking about? Like, some teams just, they had a good run and it ended. Tennessee should be better. I agree, they should, and they could be. maybe who they have now is the right guy. I certainly seems to me like they might be headed in a better direction. I don't know. But it's funny to me reading people on Twitter. They think like Texas is, look, they're not back. Of course they're not back. This is not the Texas of old. It's going to take a while. It's going to take them a little minute. And you also have to realize, too, the reputation that Texas has, it's also one that Florida has. The reputation with the Florida Gators is that there's too many outside people that influence the program. You could probably make that comment about a lot of college football programs, but Texas and Florida, but especially Texas, have had that reputation for years. For years. And I think there's some truth to it. I think there's a lot of truth to it. You've heard people who've been there, who've played there, who coached there, who've talked about it. Like there's just too many outside, rich former alumni, boosters or whatever, who have their hands, who have too much say of what happens within that program. I hate Texas. I could care less if Sarkisian wins. I could care less. I like Sarkisian. I would have taken him here in a heartbeat. Even Arkansas has to deal with Little Rock, and we've kind of gone down that road. And I had someone that was trying to shame me a little while back about that, but I think it's the truth. I think Little Rock holds too much influence over the university. So that's just me. I think the university, however you want to run your program, you should be able to run it, and it looks to me like they are. Like you look at what Hunter Yurchek's done. Sarkisian is. Sark is running a total shit show in Texas right now. Well, yeah, but it's been a shit show. I mean, it's been a shit show since Charlie Strong, so I don't know. Ty, you hear about the Bama corner that entered the portal? I haven't. Former 4-star. We go try and get – I don't know. I haven't heard about him. I eat 10 to 15 pounds sitting on average. Good Lord. A&M is the king of Texas now. A&M has completely – like – they have dethroned Texas as the best program in that state, and that's been the case for like a decade now. Ty, we will be fine. Okay? I didn't say we wouldn't be. I know we get worked up, but I think we're in a good position. What are you talking about, Brian? You got to help me out. Mr. Frazier, sir, tell me what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, I think they're going to be okay. If you're talking about football, I think they're going to be okay. We'll see about LSU. We'll have to break that game down on Friday. Again, Saturday. I'm going to make this announcement every time, 2-3 times a show. I will have QB Spotlight on the show on Saturday. Not here. Sorry, on Discord. My bad. Stephen Hamner, who runs it, will be here. And that will be Saturday at 10 a.m. Stephen Hamner from QB Spotlight, 10 a.m. Discord. You guys be there. We could eat more crawfish. Who could eat more crawfish, Ed Orgeron or Pittman? I would probably say Ed Orgeron. Did you see his comment, what he said about Arkansas? I'm going to pull this up and we'll watch it together. How about that? I thought this was pretty cool. If I can find it. I forgot who shared it. Actually, didn't I retweet it? I think I retweeted it, y'all. Yeah, here it is. Here it is. Let me share my screen here. I thought this was pretty cool.
Ed, I know you started your coaching career basically at Arkansas as an assistant strength coach 35 years ago. Yeah. Could you have imagined back then, what were you hoping that your career would be? And it could, obviously, I'm sure you're just looking for a foot in the door, right, at that point. Could you have imagined what this journey would be like, good and bad, throughout your career?
Think about this. I went there. I made $25 every 2 weeks. That was my check. I lived in the dormitory. And I remember going, man, you get to eat, so I can go and eat. And then I walked there on a Saturday morning, and I saw something white, a big bowl of white stuff. And I asked my partner, I said, what is that? He said, that's gravy. I said, no, gravy ain't white where I'm from. But, it was a great experience. My first time in Division I football. They let me be a strength coach. I was assistant strength coach, really a GA. Then Coach Hatfield brought me on the field. I worked with Coach Hatfield and Coach Goldsmith. And then they taught me how to break down film. I was always there early in the morning. I worked with Coach Hatfield on special teams. It was a wonderful experience. And that experience at Arkansas got me to be a G at Miami because those guys knew Coach Johnson in Tuberville. So it was a great connection. It was a great springboard. No, I never dreamed all this stuff was happening. I'm very thankful. And I loved Arkansas. I really have. Dean Weber hired me there. He's still a good friend of mine. Coach Hatfield will come have breakfast with me when we go up there. I made a lot of great friends. It's a great place.
Whoop, there we go. Microphone back up. All right. Yeah. Thought that was pretty cool. Thought that was pretty neat. So, Edo started here. Yeah, he did. He started here as a strength conditioning coach. You heard it there under Ken Hatfield. Ken Hatfield, the Razorbacks actually gave him his start. How cool is that? Can we hire Edo as a D-line coach? Man, I tell you what, I wouldn't be opposed to it. He had a reputation for being a pretty damn good D-line coach. I wouldn't be opposed to it. I really wouldn't, even though he kind of shit-talked the Razorbacks a little while back, saying that, how did he put it? Like beating Arkansas basically meant nothing. But it was the truth because Arkansas was a dumpster fire. So, you know. What are the chances that will be our DC? I hope very little. I wouldn't want him as a defense coordinator, but I'll take him as a D-line coach. Sure. I heard that Tennessee is not able to go to a bowl game this year. Didn't they get a ban? I think you're right. I'm pretty sure they gave themselves a self-imposed ban, right? We may have to search that up and do a follow-up on Friday. Yeah, that was the Chad M days. Yeah, I mean, I don't blame him for saying it. Sometimes the truth hurts. Arkansas was a dumpster fire. So, yeah, they were bad. And Sam Pittman, like I said, you're no longer the salt and pepper on the sides. You're on the plate. You're on that SEC. Okay, you're in the middle there. Like I said, I think up until. I still think they're better than Ole Miss, or they're at least neck and neck with Ole Miss. I think they're neck and neck with Auburn. That score did not reflect the way that game actually went, although it kind of felt like it in some ways, especially with KJ Jefferson getting sacked there back-to-back. Tennessee removed their self-imposed ban on themselves, did they? Good Lord. Why is that not surprising if that happened? So, all right, yeah, recruiting again, like we said, Patrick Kutas did move from. That's right. They are going to play him offensive line. I completely forgot about that. He's offered to play offensive line. I kind of wonder if they don't keep him on the D line though by the time he gets here because they need so much help. But if they say they're going to do it, they're probably going to do it. So Isaiah Centenia, Quincy McAdoo, Miles Rouser, Andrew Chamblay, and Amarian Harris. Those are your 2 4-star tackles there at the end. Manny Powell, Caden Henley, Jordan Crook, Nico Davier, Patrick Kutas, J.J. Hollingsworth, Anthony Brown. I'm really liking Anthony Brown, by the way. Think he might be a little underrated. I'm hearing some really positive things about him coming out of Milan, Tennessee. Same with Jalen Lewis as well. Jalen Lewis, honestly, this is a really solid defensive back recruiting effort because you got 4-star Miles Rouser, and then you have these 2 DBs that I'm hearing really good things about. And it's also pretty damn good offensive line class too, especially if you're going to flip Patrick Kutas to the O-line. You've also got Eli Henderson out of South Carolina, Tyrus Washington, Dax Courtney, 2 tight ends. Dax obviously out of Clarendon. And then James Jordan, the running back, who put on a little bit of a show this year. They did not. I don't think they ever offered Hyman, a kid out of where's he from? Is he Central Arkansas? I think he's Central Arkansas. Didn't offer him. I kind of thought they would. He's pretty exciting, and then I think he got a little hurt too, didn't he? Didn't he get banged up during his season? Didn't offer him, and they do have a silent commit. So, again, we'll talk more on that subject soon. So, Ty, I missed it. Where'd it go? There's a question. I want to read it really quick. We go 4-0 in our rivalry games. Texas, Texas A&M, LSU, Mizzou. I'll be a happy camper. I tell you, that would be pretty neat, wouldn't it? Not only that, you end the losing streaks to A&M, to LSU, and to Mizzou. And I said at the beginning of the year, that's kind of like, yeah, I want them to go bowling, but if I had to settle for anything less, it would be that. And they have a chance here. They have a chance to beat LSU. They should have beat them a year ago in Fayetteville. They couldn't do it. And then you have a shot. Unfortunately, it's at night in the most difficult place to play. Arkansas's done it before. They've gone down there and they've won. But maybe this team is playing for Coach. Maybe they're playing really good for Coach O. I mean, they do. I think they do really like playing for him. I really do think that. But you have a shot. Could you imagine that, though? I mean, those are 4 pretty nice. If you could only take 4 wins, these are the games you'd pick. For most people. I'm sure others would be like, well, I want Bama. And I want to beat Lane Kiffin. I want to go 2-0 against Kiffin. But those are 4 games I'm perfectly fine with if you had to settle for not going to a bowl game. But they are going bowling, so. Just a general statement, Bro-tato Chip. Oh, okay. What did you say earlier? I was trying to figure out. Oh, talking about we'll be fine. Okay. All right. My bad. My bad, bro, Migo. Tennessee fans are the absolute worst. They win a game or two, they think they're Super Bowl champs. All right. Yeah, screw the Titans. Screw the Tennessee Titans. Came into Rams territory and beat them. Large O-line commits 2. Their frames are capable of carrying a lot of weight. Yeah, they are pretty big. I live in Bama. God, can we beat them once? One day. I don't know. All right, like the stream. Subscribe if you guys haven't already. Join the Discord. Let me get that link. You guys who maybe you're worried about, you can't find the link. Oh, well, we had some join, didn't we? We had a couple. Let's get the link out there. Where did the oh, there it is. I'm gonna throw you the link. Okay. This will be for you guys who want to join. Oh no, not inspect. What did that do? Oh my God, what did I do to my channel? I don't know what just happened. What is this? I better end my show before I break the internet, before I break YouTube. Now I've got a whole Look at this. Look at this. I don't know what this is. What is this? Someone tell me what to do. I don't know how I did that. Damn it. I got hacked. All right, I'll see you guys on Friday. We'll have a breakdown of LSU. We're going to get more and more into it. Oh, hit X. Okay. X. You're going to end my stream. That's what you're going to do. Oh, what did that do? It like zoomed in on my page. I'm done. I'm ending it before I break this thing. Woo pig. I'll see you guys on Friday. You guys be good. I have no earthly idea what this is. What do I do? Hit X. I'll try X again. It's not doing anything, man.